Hello, Happiness Abounders, and welcome back. Oh, first off, I'm so excited to not only welcome you back to the show, but to welcome me back to the show. If you are watching on YouTube or IGTV, you may notice I am in a new studio. No longer am I in my little teeny tiny closet, compounded with all these clothes to try and make the audio better. Instead, I am in my official podcast studio and it's branded with Happiness Abound, and I'm so excited for that. And it's caused a little bit of a delay in me posting as often as I would like to and publishing new episodes for you, but that is changing today. So welcome back. I am so excited for today's episode, not only because it's a welcome back episode, but also because it's something that is a celebration and also very near and dear to my heart. Some of you may know that I have finished Andy Frisella's 75 Hard program. And his initial program is 75 days long. And then there's some additional phases. And at the publication of this episode, which should be on July 1st, 2020, it actually marks my full year, 365 days of working within the 75 Hard program. And whoo, I am excited. You guys, not only has this program completely revolutionized my life, but in the time frame of a year, I've lost 35 pounds. I'm more mentally and emotionally clear than I've ever been. I have a business that is flourishing, a day job that is flourishing and growing as well, and I couldn't be happier. So that is, of course, the whole point of this program, and this, by program, I mean this episode, this podcast. And so I really want to share with you what the 75 Hard program is. I have talked about it in the past, but I'm going to go into a little bit more depth today because I've now finished it for 365 days. Now, I should be very clear with you that the phases do require you some days off of the program. So in its entirety, I have been working within 75 Hard and its parameters for 365 days. That doesn't necessarily mean that I have been on the program itself with such rigidity for more than the 75 days at a time. So that said, what in the world is 75 Hard? So it's this mental toughness program put on by a person named Andy Frisella. He has a podcast, and of course you can go and listen to that as well, but he recommends that for mental toughness, not for the physical health, not for the weight loss and all those other things, but to mentally convince yourself that you can do hard things, to build that evidence and that confidence in yourself. There's a few things you can do every single day for a total of 75 days, and it can transform your life. Now, I am totally a testament to that. And then he has additional phases on top of that to round out for the entirety of a year, and it has been a game changer and changed my life. So, 75 Hard. What it is one 45-minute workout outside every single day, one 45-minute indoor workout every single day, reading 10 pages of a personal development or business book, so nonfiction, every single day, drinking a gallon of water every day, taking a progress picture every day, and that like there's one I'm missing, sticking to a meal plan without alcohol, no cheat meals every single day. Now, that might seem like a lot for 75 days, and here's the real kicker. Let's say you forget to take your progress pic. You have to start not only your progress picture for 75 days, but the entire program over again. So word of warning, if you're thinking you want to start 75 Hard and you are not fully invested in doing it, if you're going to fail, it mentally can kind of wreck you because you've committed to something, you've said you're going to do it, and then when you don't, it can add more evidence to the other side of the pile that you don't keep your word to yourself and that you aren't trustworthy to yourself, and when you say something, it doesn't mean anything. So be very careful that if you're going to commit to this program, I highly recommend you commit to it and you complete it. Otherwise, it puts a lot of evidence in the negative side, and the whole point of this is to build evidence on the positive side that you can do these things that are hard. You can do stuff that other people might give up on, that maybe you would have given up on in the past, but now you can do it and you keep your word. And when you say you're doing something, you're committed to it. And I think there's a piece of this that is a commitment to yourself. And it's hard for a lot of us to commit to something to ourselves. It's hard for us to keep our word to ourselves. And the 75 Hard program definitely helps you figure out that that is possible and that you can do it. And sometimes it's pure grit. It's by the skin of your teeth, but you can do it. So that's 75 Hard in a nutshell. It's 75 days of doing that. And it can be any meal plan. And again, it's a mental toughness challenge. It's not about a specific diet or meal plan that he recommends. It can be anything. And same thing with the workouts. I'll be fully honest with you guys. As always, my workout has either been hula hooping or pacing. Just walking, taking walks, taking hikes, pacing on my back patio, or hula hooping inside. Not hard stuff, but just moving my body for 45 minutes outside, 45 minutes inside every single day. So there's 75 Hard in a nutshell, but I want to go through what I did to complete it and give you some tips and advice, not only for the first 75 days, but if you're going to complete the entire year program, which is 75 Hard is phase 1. Then there's phase 2, which is 75 Hard plus a few additional action items, things like taking a 5-minute cold shower every day, 10 minutes of visualization, and 3 additional power items, and that's for a 30-day period. Then you have to take 30 days off, do another 30 days of 75 Hard itself, and then at the end of your year, the last 30-day period before it's your 1-year mark, you have to complete 75 Hard plus 5 minutes of a cold shower, plus some action items, plus a random act of kindness, and talking to a stranger every day, and social media does not count. Whew, it's a lot. So my journey, I did 75 days, then I did the 30 days, and instead of a 30-day off, I actually took 3 months off. Some of you may know I traveled to Scotland for about 5 weeks, and then it was Christmas and we had a trip to Disneyland. And so it kind of was like, okay, after Disneyland, I say we're, me and the mouse in my pocket, we're going to start this over again. And I actually thought, so make sure that you educate yourself, but I was kind of ignorance on fire. I thought that phase 3 was another full 75 days. So I actually didn't find that out until day 69 of phase 3. And I was like, oh, I guess I could stop now because it was only supposed to be 30 days. So I took a week off and then I kind of just started again without any numerical days attached to it, leading up to my last 30 days, which with it being July 1st, ended today. Which is super exciting and I'm really happy about it. But I actually had a pretty long year of doing 75 Hard work. And in that, also I should know, I know a lot of people who have attempted the challenge, and this isn't a humble brag or anything like that. This is to let you know that it is really hard. And I hope that the advice that I share with you today can help you do this challenge. So I know quite a few people who have done it or attempted to do, I should say, have attempted to do it. I know 2 people who have actually finished 75 Hard phase 1. I know 1 other person who has finished 75 Hard all the way up to the final phase, and they actually didn't know it was the 30 days in the last 30 days of the year, and they wrapped it up 3 days into, they started it 3 days into when it would have been their full year. So they're having to start the full year in its entirety over again. So all that to say, I'm the only person I know of, other than maybe Andy Frisella, that has finished the program in its entirety in the year-long time frame. So that being said, please, first off, if you have finished it or you know anybody has finished it, please hook us up, because there's a camaraderie there that is amazing. But also, I want to be able to help you guys. And I want you to be able to succeed for your first 75 days. And here are the 2 things, it's as simple as 2 things that I have learned that have helped me complete a year of 75 Hard. So first one, strategize. Strategize, strategize, strategize. And I know it's kind of like, well, I'm going to do this challenge. I'm going to go in, I'm going to go hard. It's going to be awesome. And I'm going to start tomorrow, or I'm going to start on Monday and it's a Saturday. Oh, take a breath and strategize. Because there is a meal plan. There are no cheat meals within that meal plan. And stuff is always going to come up. So you've got to be prepared to pivot. You've got to have a meal plan that fits your needs. So for me, and I'm not recommending this for everyone is different, so know yourself. But for me, I do really well with rigid, inflexible choices. And what I mean by that is if there's way too many choices, or I have to make a hard decision based uneducated, or I have to go back and do all the research and I can't do it in a convenient way, I fail. So for me, I actually spent a month, all the month of June last year, figuring out what I wanted my meal plan to be, what I felt like I would be able to eat for 75 days and not get sick of. So it ended up being, if I remember correctly, I think 23 ingredients. And that compiled into a whole bunch of different meals that I could make that would sustain me through the next 75 days. And in fact, I've pretty much maintained that meal plan for the entirety of a year now. And that has been really helpful and good for me. I know other people that need a little bit more flexibility, and so they may just say, hey, I'm gonna go keto, or I'm gonna go vegan. And they can also build in, because it's all up to you, build in things that you normally would want to eat. So maybe it's, I have a guys' night every Tuesday, and on that night we go out to eat. So I'm gonna order the most healthy thing on their menu, and that will still be within my 75 hard, right? It's totally up to you. And on the flip side of having a meal plan, this is a mental toughness challenge. It's not about necessarily eating healthy or not healthy. It's completely your call. So that being said, you could say, I want to have a Big Mac for every meal. And you have to strategize, is that something you're going to be able to eat for every single meal for 75 days straight, let alone a year? So strategize. What meal plan can you put yourself on that will set you up for success? Same thing with working out. Strategize what that could look like. Is it acceptable that I'm pacing or walking or hula hooping? Or does it need to be a hard, strenuous workout every single time? 75 days, give yourself some grace. It's an hour and a half of working out every single day, but know yourself. Are you gonna kind of punish yourself because you walked instead of ran? Or are you gonna be okay with that? And you're gonna set that expectation and those parameters in your strategy phase, I should say. On top of that, you're gonna wanna have some books lined up. Not just like, oh yeah, that looks good, but stuff you actually care about reading, because it has to be conscious reading. 10 pages a day that you are actively reading. That means taking notes, highlighting, whatever that may be for you, but not just glazing over. So make sure you pick a personal development or business topic that you care about. For me, at the start of this whole program, I really wanted to make more money. So I read books all about making money and a money mindset and having an abundance mindset and what that would take. And actually, I think since I've started this program, my business financials have increased double. So pick your topic of where you want to grow and maybe lean in there. But take time to strategize. One of the biggest failing points of 75 hard that I've seen is that people either go really, really hard at the first and they work out, and then their next day they're sore and they're like, this isn't worth it, I'm done. Or they're like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gung-ho, and they haven't figured out how to fit 75 hard into their existing life. That's a biggie. Strategize so you're setting yourself up for success instead of diving in head first and then being like, this doesn't work with my life, I guess I'm done. And then you've put evidence in the negative side of the, well, I won't say negative, but in the non-trusting side of your brain. The side that says, well, you said you were gonna do it and now you didn't. Are you gonna do everything else that you say you're gonna do? So strategize to set it up in your life so it will work for you. That's my first tip. My second tip, have a tracking sheet. Mine is super simple. It's printed out. It just has boxes and lines, and it is something I use every single day. For an entirety of a year, I have used printed papers that I track what I'm doing on. And each new sheet, I rewrite the 75 hard task list so that I'm constantly reminded, and it's in my own handwriting. And just every day, I check it off. And when you stop using a tracker, so real story here, someone I know, I think it was 59 days into their first round of 75 hard. They didn't have their tracker with them. They thought that they had made it into a habit, and they fell off the wagon. And a lot of that comes down to because you think, oh, I'm more than 50 days in, it's a habit now, it's going to be a breeze. And you stop the daily habits that set you up for success. Tracking is one of those habits. Checking it off every day so you don't have to lay your head down on the pillow and go, oh crap, I forgot it, and have to get back up, which is a best case scenario without a tracking sheet. Worst case scenario is the next day or 2 days later, you remember that you didn't do it and you have to start all over. So track. So those are my 2 biggest takeaways for completing a year of 75 hard. Strategize, set yourself up for success. Know yourself and make sure that you can win. And second, track every day the items you need to do. Get the fulfillment and that jolt of hell yes from checking that you did every single item and having a sheet full of check marks that you show you took action, you kept your promises, and you made it. So those are my 2 things. Now, this is a little bit of a longer episode, so I also want to go into my biggest takeaways of being a year on 75 hard. One, I already told you I've lost 35 pounds, and it's so funny because I look at videos of the podcast a year ago, and I feel like I look totally different. And not only that, but I feel so much lighter and happier because not only am I physically lighter, but mentally and emotionally I am lighter too. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I've been moving my body every single day. My meal plan doesn't include refined sugars, so I'm not on sugar and having the roller coaster of emotions that usually come with that. I can take actions and be decisive more than I ever have in the past. And I have clearer skin, softer skin. Fun fact about Taylor, I actually can't stand lotion. I think it's slimy and stinky. And my husband has even commented on how smooth and soft my skin is, and it's because I'm drinking a gallon of water every day. Another big takeaway is that I'm investing in myself. By reading every day a business or personal development book, I'm investing in growing, in learning, in becoming better. And it doesn't take that long, but it has big results on the back end that I care about myself. I love myself. I'm investing in myself. I'm at my physical best, my emotional best. I'm eating clean. I make less decisions about food, which actually is a huge brain release for me. I am investing in who I am. I have clearer skin. Like, there's so many benefits of this. And of course, you can go listen to Andy Frisella's podcast as well, and I'm sure he'll list out all of his benefits he's seen also. But the biggest one, the biggest benefit, is the knowledge that whatever comes my way, I will be able to handle it. Because if I can finish a year of 75 hard, I can do pretty much anything. And that knowledge, that peace of mind, that understanding that if I say something, I'm committed to it, I'm keeping my word to myself, that evidence on that side of the brain that allows me to trust that I can do it, that is the biggest takeaway and the biggest benefit of doing 75 hard. So if you are still with me, there are 2 things that I want to address with you. 1, I have a free tracker. So if you are thinking that you want to do 75 hard and you're like, yeah, strategy and tracking, that makes sense. I have a tracker. It's the exact same tracker I use. You can have it for free. You can either shoot me a message at taylor@happinessabound.com and I will send it your way, or you can join the Happiness Abounders Facebook group, and upon sign up, I can give you that tracker. So that's the first thing, free tracker for you if you want it and you're still listening and you're like, yes, I want to do 75 hard. The second thing, the book part. If you're like, I don't quite know what books I want to do you have any recommendations? Yes, we have the Happiness Abound book club. If you go to bookclub.happinessabound.com, you can learn all about it. You can sign up and you can not only read your 10 pages a day and have a great personal development book that's ready there for you month after month as you're doing 75 hard, but you also have the ability to communicate and connect with other members of the group as they are reading the book in Facebook group, where they and you can share what you're learning as you go along, and you get like triple the benefits from just reading it yourself, because you get to learn and share, which we know helps ingrain concepts and ideas better and further in our heads, but also you'll get to learn from what other people are sharing and get a more full picture of how this book can help you change your life. So if you are thinking of doing this, you're like, I'm not sure what books I want to start with, consider joining the book club by Happiness Abound. So it's bookclub.happinessabound.com, and we've got your back. So that said, I'm going to end this very long episode here, but I hope that this episode helps you if you're thinking about doing 75 hard. And if you are, please reach out. I would love to hear from you. If you know someone who's finished it, not only the 75 days, I'd love to hear from you there too, but even the full year, I would love to get to know those people because I have a feeling we'd have a lot in common. I would love to get to know you. So that said, ending it there. Hope this episode was helpful. And regardless of 75 hard or not, you can do hard things. You can build evidence on the positive side of your brain that you can build trust for yourself. And it may start with 75 hard or it may not, but ultimately, the important thing to remember is that you are capable of happiness abound.